Hey guys, it's Null Assassin, and today we're back with the third video in my little mini-series of gameplays and commentaries from the Black Ops 3 beta. We're about 5 days away now from the Black Ops 3 drop, and I could not be more excited for this week to finally be here. It's like I'm a kid on Christmas Eve waiting for something I've wanted for years, and in the case with the lack of success of the last two CODs, it pretty much is something I've been waiting for the last few years. In the background is a domination gameplay on Stronghold, which went pretty well. Lots of kills and some high kill streaks that I used. Be sure to check out the video all the way to the end. Check out the other two videos I've already posted in this mini-series, and keep an eye out for a couple more that I'll be sending out before the actual release. Before we get started, I 100% appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel. Leave me any feedback you want, and I promise to do my best to respond. With that being said, what I wanted to talk about today was the score streaks that we saw in the beta, which will most likely be everything we have in the actual release, and maybe a couple others that will show up as we get the full game. Going back to the original Black Ops and what we saw in Black Ops 2, we knew that Treyarch would dig into the vault and find a way to bring back some of the fan favorites in one form or another. Now the score streaks this time around from playing the beta felt very earned. And what I mean by that is you actually had to go out and do work to get the streaks that you set before each match. I played so many of the matches during the beta, and I can honestly say that it was very tough to get to the mid to high level streaks on a consistent basis due to the fact that the game was very fast paced. The maps are not insanely huge, and it makes you go out and actually get kills or actually play the objective to earn the streaks. I'm 1000% on board with this setup, and based on the way Treyarch has set up the score streak list, someone is not going to get hammered by the other team with a random score streak like in past CODs unless someone on the other team is actually playing really well. So it gives you a motive to kind of keep the other team away from the objectives and keep the other team doing well. I actually got kind of upset a few times because I was so close to a high-level score streak and missed it by 50 or so points. It really makes you earn everything that you're going after, so I'm very interested to get back in and start earning these items again. I'll describe the streaks on a row-to-row basis and what I think will be most used, how effective they are, and if I may use them in any of my gameplays. So for row 1, we have the lower level streaks of the HCXD, which is your old RCXD, just on a hover. Takes about 400 points to get it. Not really something I will use unless it's in Search and Destroy, maybe a time or two. The UAV at 425 points is a love of mine. I will say that the only huge downfall to the beta, which was absolutely fixed, was the Black Hat hacker function that basically forced you to never use this kill streak. It was way too easy in the beta to hack someone's score streak, but it's going to be ridiculously more difficult in the final build, so the UAV should be a staple for me and probably for a lot of others. The care package at 550 is known to everyone, so I don't really need to spend any time on that. The counter UAV is up next at 575 and is very useful. I would run this with the UAV and probably the Hater if I wanted to run an all non-lethal setup, which I do often if I'm going for something like nuclears or high gameplays. The counter lasts a pretty good amount of time, which really screws up the other team since the maps are so close combat and active. It really just messes them up. The Dart at 600 is your hunter killer from Black Ops 2, only this time it's player controlled and has 3 missiles or can do some kind of dive bomb function. I didn't use this one in the beta, but it sounds pretty interesting, but it also leaves you very vulnerable as a player if you're going to sit in a corner and maybe use it when you have other kill streaks on top of this one. So maybe if it's your top kill streak, it might be something good to use, but if it's something you're just building up to other kill streaks on, may not be a high priority item to use and probably won't show up in my set of kill streaks that often. Row 2, we have the Guardian at 650, which is a pain to deal with if you're facing it. Might be good for something like Hardpoint if it's allowed. Not one of my top kill streaks to use, but we'll see how it goes. The Hellstorm at 700 and 750 for the Lightning Strike are both returning from Black Ops 2 and probably are two of the more popular score streaks that you will see, and probably will be two of the ones that I will absolutely use in some of my gameplays. There's no really need to describe these because they were seen in Black Ops 2. If you haven't seen any of these, definitely go check them out in some past games. They're pretty awesome. Rolling Thunder at 900 makes a return from the original Black Ops and I think has multiple bombers when it's called in. I didn't use this one myself in the beta, but I saw some other people do it, and I believe it has 2 sets of bombing runs that go through. It can really good for clearing out an area like in Domination and letting your team move in to capture an objective. And finally on this row was the Talon, which is a beast. If you can find a spot to hide out and get this thing moving, you'll probably pick up a good amount of kills. It does take 975 points to get it, so you won't be seeing campers picking up this kind of kill streak. You'll probably be facing a pretty skilled player who managed to get up to 975 and is probably going to come in and do some work on you, so definitely beware of this one. On to row 3. Now we're getting into the big boy kill streak section. I believe it's pronounced Cerebus is the first one up at 1,000 points, and it's basically the same thing as the AGR from Black Ops 2. I like this thing because it's AI controlled but can be switched over to player control if you really want to. I like the AI items if you haven't picked up so far, so this one may show up on some of my gameplays. The next 3 are going to be, without a doubt, my most used setup or a form of them. It may be like the 1-2-3 punch. The Wraith is at 1100, which is your stealth helicopter from Black Ops 2, making a comeback. The sound of it in the air just makes the other team want to go and hide, which is really awesome. The Hater at 1150 is your new version of the orbital VSAT and puts the moving arrows on the minimap, making the other team show at all times. I run this 100% of the time. I love this kill streak. I think it's very powerful, and I would definitely argue that it is probably the most powerful score streak in the game. And third favorite is the Raps at 1275. If you love the dogs from past CODs, then the Raps is the one for you. It's like dogs on steroids because it's a massive group of drones that just roll around on the map chasing enemies down. And it's not just one drop. If they get taken out too fast by the enemy, kind of like the dogs in the past, more Raps will drop down and unleash the fury again. I love this score streak. It really drives your kills up on the game to a new level, and it's definitely something I'll be using. This is the one from earlier when I was mentioning I was getting a little upset that I missed by 50 points or so. I got close to this one quite a few times and just got killed randomly and was not able to call it in, but it definitely is something that creates a lot of havoc when it's down on the ground. And then finally on this row is the Power Core at 1300. I didn't get to use this one in the beta, but I know it stops the thrust movements and shuts down electronics for the enemy, so it's kind of like a standing EMP grenade. I don't know if I'll be using this one too much. It may come in use in certain situations, but really wasn't something I went to on the beta. And then finally for row 4, maybe we'll have 2 others besides the 2 that are on this list when the game finally drops, but we have the GI unit at 1550 points, which is basically a walking metal beast that can patrol an area, or you can set it to follow you for protection. Tons of points to get to this one, so hopefully it does some work. However, I feel that once it's out, people will steer clear of it and probably won't be that effective in an overall. Don't know if I'll use this one much at all during my gameplays. And finally, we have the Mothership at 1600, which bravo to you if you manage to get this one at 1600 points without dying. I'm sure this thing does work. It was not used by me at all during the beta, and I'm not sure I'll use it much in my gameplays. Not really interested in manual type score streaks. They just don't work for me too much, but maybe I'll try it out a time or two and see how it goes. I'm interested to see if any more score streaks get introduced into the game when the release finally comes out. I heard rumblings that the Sentry Gun will be making a comeback, and maybe they'll come out with some other cool things there to finish out the last line, or at least make that line a full line by adding in some lower level kill streaks. So that's it for pretty much the run through on the score streaks at this point and my brief thoughts on them. I always try to detail out my score streaks in my gameplays. I know I've done a bad job about this in my beta videos so far, but as we get to the regular release, I'll definitely be stating exactly which gun, which setup, perks, and score streaks I'll be using through each match, so I promise to do a better job on that. The gameplay in the background should be wrapping up here pretty shortly, so keep watching to see how the game ends. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I very much appreciate it. Keep checking back for more videos. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll catch you on the next video.
Bravo lockdown. Securing A. Friendly UAV inbound. Losing B. Friendly Hellstorm inbound. Friendly counter UAV inbound. Friendly HCXD inbound. Be advised, hostile UAV incoming. Securing A. Losing B. Friendly UAV inbound. Hellstorm inbound. We lost Bravo. Securing B. Hostile UAV above. Losing C. Hostile Hellstorm overhead. We lost Charlie. Friendly Hellstorm inbound.
Reaper down.
Losing Bravo.
Nomad KIA.
Friendly UAV inbound.
IA. Demolition asset decreased.
Battery down.
Losing Bravo.
Inform, ruin, kill.
UAV, ready for deployment.
Spectre wasted.
Good job, CVP. Mission reassignments inbound.
Positive, optimal outcome achieved.